part 2, out there in Palatka. And he's got his own shop now. So Jared helped my dad pull the motor back off, and as soon as my mom is out of the hospital, they're going to take both motors up to Rusty and explain the situation and see if he can come up with something. Because the wellhead is, 47 years old, almost 50 years old. And like I said, the pump motor is basically the same, but the housing is different. And they could not get the exact same pump motor anywhere because they don't make these anymore for a well pump, because they don't do well pumps like this anymore. So the pump motor that they got is technically for a pool pump. So we're going to see if Rusty can finagle something, because the cost to put a new wellhead in there, an updated wellhead, I don't even want to think about it. And my folks don't drink the water, they can't drink the water. There's too much iron in it. When I was a kid, it was perfectly drinkable. It was good water. It was good, clean water. But the problem is, it's a shallow well, and when I was a kid, there were much less people in the neighborhood. But now the neighborhood has grown, exponentially, like everything here in Florida. We honestly need a "we're full" sign up at the state line. We really, really do. But with much greater demand on the aquifer, and a whole bunch of shallow wells, it got to where I guess there's more sediment in the water, too much in the way of mineral content. There's too much iron in it. The pipes are old, 47, 50 years old, so it's not drinkable anymore. But they wash with it, they will shower. Well, they can't do that at their house right now. They wash with it. They wash their dishes, do their laundry. So they've been coming out here to do that at my house. They wash dishes with a jug, with a tap, and they fill their jugs at my house. They shower at my house. Before, they would, fill jugs either here or at Walmart. There's a really nice artesian well, deep artesian well with good, clean spring water, pure water, good water, out in the north end area of Putnam County. But it's a hike to get there, and you got to park on the shoulder and walk over this rickety little wooden bridge, and then navigate this trail that's like, it's only like 100 feet long, but it's back in the woods. My parents can't do it anymore. But that's free. It's free here, but I got it's not city water, but it is city water. I don't have a well. I have a water treatment facility in my neighborhood that just seems to supply my neighborhood. And they're contracted with the city, and it's treated water. It's highly mineralized. There's way too much calcium in it. I've got a little filter on my faucet, so I drink it, but I drink the filtered water. And even the filtered water, it still doesn't agree with my mom. So they do that when they have to, but ordinarily they fill them at Walmart. I guess the filtration system at Walmart is better than mine. But like I said, I've only got one of the little faucet filters. So that's up in the air. We don't know what's going on with that right now. And the past couple of days, I went down to the bus stop. I think it first did it Wednesday. Went to go pick up the kiddo at the bus stop Wednesday. Come out here, fired up the truck. put it in reverse, took my foot off the brake. And I did not go anywhere. Now, you know, in an automatic, as soon as you put it in drive, it's in first gear. So it will roll forward or backward, you know, put it in drive or reverse. It will roll forward or backward on its own. You know, you don't have to have your foot on the gas. There goes that asshole on that four-wheeler again. And there he goes, up over that damn mound and looking in my yard. Every fucking time. Pardon my French. I'm gonna go in the house. Because I'm not dealing with it. It's his property. We live out here because we've got the room and we don't have an HOA to tell us what we can and can't do in our yard, but good Lord, that irritates me. And he always seems to freaking do it when I don't want to hear it. Sit down in my wheelchair. Oh, excuse the light. Back up here. So, supposed to go forward and backward on its own power without your foot on the gas because it's an automatic. You're automatically in first gear or you're automatically in reverse, and you know you don't have a clutch to transverse power on your own. It's got, you know, it does that in transmission. And I did not move. So I stepped on the gas a little bit, and it started to move. So I backed it up, you know, turned it backwards to point it at my driveway and, you know, go forward. Backed it up, put my foot on the brake, took my foot off the brake. Again, it did not move. Put it in drive, took my foot off the brake, and it moved ever so slightly, a little bit. Put my foot on the gas, and it went. So, first thing I think is, you know, is a brake sticking, but it didn't feel like that. And if you've got a sticking brake, you know, one of your brakes is sticking on the caliper, or one of the drums is sticking, you'll put your foot on the gas and it'll fight you a little bit. And then, you know, sometimes it'll break loose and you can go. It doesn't do that. As soon as I put my foot on the gas, it goes. But when I took my foot off the gas, you know, it would not go on its own. It's supposed to. I checked the trans fluid, and it looks okay, but it has an ever so slight burnt smell to it. And that is an indicator that there might be a problem with the transmission, is if the fluid is burnt. The first order of business is to change the transmission fluid and the filter. That process involves dropping the transmission pan. And I'll never understand why, but most older transmission pans do not have a drain plug. And usually it's like 15 or 20 bolts, somewhere around there. So you'd have to, you know, loosen all the bolts and then tip one end of it down and empty the fluid into your drain pan. You always make a mess. and newer transmission pans, and now they make transmission pans for older transmissions that actually have drain plugs in them. My folks' Jeep has a drain plug in the transmission pan. The transmission pan in my truck does not. But you drop the tranny pan, and you got the underside guts of the transmission, and there's a big flat filter, and that has to be changed every